Welcome to SEMA 2025. It is day 3. We're outside the West Hall looking at some of the JTX vehicles. And behind me, we have the baddest power wagon at SEMA. I guarantee it. Start at the front end, work our way to the interior, and then the back of the truck. Because there's a lot to see, a lot of details. So we want to make sure we hit all the details and go over every little thing about it. So we're going to walk to the front of the truck and go over it. So we first started with scanning a skeleton body of everything. This front nose piece we scanned and recreated in CAD because we needed a lot bigger of a nose. This truck itself is scaled about 1.5x from an original power wagon, so everything needed to get widened and made taller. So we started with the front nose because this is like the hardest to work by hand and to make it super symmetrical. So we made the file, sent it out to SaltWorks 3D, where they pushed it out of a sheet of metal on one of their incredible machines. And then the main focal point of the entire truck is Wile E. Coyote on his rocket, and the customer really wanted that. So we took that theme and brought it into the rest of the truck, starting with the grille. As you can see, we have this shape right here, and it's repeated everywhere on the truck. You can see this shape here is in this pattern here, and all this is billet, made from a CNC, or cut on a CNC. The grill base as well has the same pattern. Moving on to the headlights. So we used the original buckets from the Power Wagon for the headlight buckets, and they were made in carbon. But there was nothing inside of it to mount any bolts to. So we used this 3D metal printed bar with some bolts going through into a 3D printed plastic ring on the inside, and it's glued in the headlight so we can bolt everything together and basically sandwich everything. Going back to the hood ornament again, that's also 3D metal printed, and we needed to make a little pedestal trim right on top. So we have a bolt going underneath into the trim, into the Wile E. Coyote rocket to make it nice and clean. And it's definitely a focal point, and it's gotten so much attention here. I would say that rocket's been photographed over 2,000 times. But as we make our way into the engine bay, there's these support bars that we originally mocked up, or 612 originally mocked up with regular steel. We got the dimensions and then designed a nice support bar to match the trailing arms we also designed, which are under the truck. Hard to see now that the truck's aired out, but you'll definitely see some B-roll of that. Again, we carried that pattern in everywhere onto the truck. And remember back to the first shape I showed you, if you flip that shape over, you can see it in the mirror arm. We took that shape and brought it to an oval shape to match the roundedness of the truck. So this was a kind of a challenge because there are suicide doors on it, and we didn't want the mirrors on the doors, so we wanted them on the body. So we were like, what are we gonna do for a handle? So let's design a handle that flows with the mirror mount and also mounts the side marker lights. So it's a pull handle, so you pull it like that and it opens up. Now, because these are suicide doors and we're using latches out of, I believe, a Challenger, a Dodge Challenger, and we needed to use the cables to open up the latch. So we had to make a mechanism, simple mechanism, very simple mechanism, for that door handle to pull the cable. We did it, works great. Also, all of this 3D metal printed as well. We have these awesome mirrors that are two-tone that Danny from 612 painted over the shiny gold, and we think it looks absolutely spectacular. It's clean, it's consistent, and then let's walk to the back before we go on the inside, because the back is really cool. So the original Power Wagon had these bed braces, which is kind of like these bed braces on this truck over here. That's kind of what they looked like originally, and they were made out of sheet metal. So as we kept the billet theme going, these are all billet aluminum, CNC cut. Not only do these support the bed sides, these are the taillights. So the taillights, stunning. We're gonna move on to the interior, where you can see a lot of our design work and a lot of time went into. So let's move on to the interior, show you that, because honestly, I'm pretty proud of how everything turned out, even though it's 98% complete. But the big thing with this truck is a the 4th gen Ram is very boxy on the inside. It has a lot of angles and chamfered edges, and the exterior and interior of an old Power Wagon is very rounded. So we had to kind of try to make the two worlds meet, and by doing so, we did that by keeping all the sharp edges and angles and chamfers to match the Ram lower in the interior. So from like your shoulder down is all very sharp and modern, whereas from your shoulders and up is very rounded, and it really blends the two worlds together and the two time periods together. So going on the door panels, everything here is 3D printed. Everything, even the grill, the metal is all 3D metal printed, 3D plastic printed. These are metal printed. These are our door handles. We have a cup holder. We have a phone holder or whatever you want to put in there, a wallet, pack of gum, and then this is a holster for a Magnum, 357 Magnum, I believe. But again, like we spoke about with the front of the truck, that one shape we incorporated here, and it extended it, and we kind of, again, really just flowed with that shape. We put it in here as well. And one thing on the old Power Wagons, in the interior, on the center of the dash, on the original, there's 6 lines that are embossed. We debossed those lines and incorporated that design elsewhere into the truck. So in the handle, you have these lines here to represent that, as well as on the dashboard, kind of hard to tell, but in the center section of the dashboard, there's some debossed lines to match where the lines would have been on the interior of the original Power Wagon. Oh, I gotta show you the passenger side of the dashboard, because that was a really cool idea. There is this blank space that I'm about to show you, this empty cavity that you could just put anything in, your phone, your wallet, your gun, your keys, whatever you need. So it being open, and it was ugly. So let's go on to the passenger side and show you what we did to fix that problem. Here on the dashboard, behind here was empty. So we had some leather straps with some buttons made, nice and open. Suede on the inside where you put your phone and stuff so nothing slips, and leather everywhere else. So the leather straps kind of tie it back into the old school vibe of like a nice piece of luggage. If you want to see more of this truck, we'll go more in detail, more videos. Like, subscribe, comment what you think. Again, if you are here, we're outside of South Hall with a bunch of JTXs, featured vehicles. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.